Hello students, welcome back to Kiran's English Hub. So we are continuing with the summaries of 7th class English, and in this video I'll be teaching you the next lesson, which is Sindbad the Sailor. So that is of Unit 5 Reading C. So far I had completed the videos till Unit 5 Reading B, and all the videos are uploaded in my playlist. Once go through the playlist if you want to go through the previous lessons. So into 1, 2, 3, 4 and Unit 5 till B reading, the videos are uploaded. And here Sindbad Sailor, in this lesson we are going to see another adventurous story here. Okay, so where a person gets stuck on an island and where he encounters different huge species, and we will also see how we will come out of that huge island. Okay, so let us get into the lesson here. Here we see Reading C, Sindbad the Sailor. Okay, you know the meaning of sailor, right? Okay, one who does journeys on the sea is called as sailor. One who does journeys on water. Okay, so here I bought a substantial stock of goods to trade and sailed on a ship with a number of my merchant friends. We placed ourselves in the care of Allah and set off. Soon we reached an island. So, here in the introduction passage, we must understand that this man who is narrating this lesson, he is a sailor. So, he, traveled once traveled on a ship on a sea. So, he brought very huge stock of goods to trade for business and all. So he, along with his friends, merchant friends, when he was going on a ship, before they could leave the place from where they are starting, once they pray to Allah and they started their journey. So that means you should understand that the narrator of this lesson is a Muslim. So soon they reached an island. Okay, soon they reached an island. So they might have, stopped somewhere in between to take a break. So here we decided to go ashore. My friends went to gather fruits and flowers, but I took food packet to place in the shed. Food packet to a place in the shed. That means they decided finally to stop by the shore. Okay, they might want to have some food like that. So his friends, they went outside into the island. They just wanted to search for some fruits, some flowers for food and all. So when they were going, this person Sinbad, he didn't like to go to search this fruits and all. So he just took his food packet and he sat in a shade. So I had a good meal and lay down to sleep under the trees. I don't know how long I slept, but when I awoke and I looked out to the sea, the ship had gone. I was all alone. So he just ate his food and he started to take rest, like he slept. So when he got up, he could see no one. His friends were not there. The ship was not there. There was nobody around. He was all alone in the island. So, not knowing what to do, I climbed up to the top of the tree and looked over the island on all sides. In the distance, I could see something white and decided to find out what it was. So, since he was all alone, he didn't know how far he slept. Okay, he didn't know whether he slept for only 1 hour or for many days or for many months. Okay, so we can also encounter Rip Van Winkle. Okay, we can here remember the story of Rip Van Winkle, how he had a mug of wine and he slept for 20 years like that. So just like that, here Sinbad also, this sailor also, just started to take rest and immediately he got sleep, and when he got up there was nobody. So it might be like too much time. So it, since it is an adventurous story, it is an imaginable one. Okay, so now since he was all alone, he just wanted to know where he was. So he climbed up to a nearby mountain. Okay, on the small island, onto the tree top of a tall tree, and he could see from there, from the tree, he could see something which was in white color. and he wanted to find out what was that, that white one which is on that island. So soon I came to what seemed like a huge white ball. When I touched it, it felt very smooth. It was so high that I could not see the top of it, and it was more than 50 paces round. So there was no door on any side, and it was smooth to climb. So this man, when he saw this round thing which is in white color, so he came down the tree, and he went to that white huge ball which is just like a ball. So when he touched it, it is very smooth, and there is no door for it, and he cannot even see the top of that huge ball. So that means that is a very huge one, that is bigger than this sailor. So he couldn't even climb it, and it was also very smooth to touch. So suddenly the sky above me was dark, as if a huge cloud was covering it. Looking up, I saw the darkness was caused by the shadow of a huge bird that was flying towards me. So here, when he was just looking at that huge ball, which is actually an egg, I'm revealing that one now itself. So when he was looking at that egg, so suddenly there was shadow. Suddenly there was huge darkness. Okay, in the place where he was standing. So he suddenly looked up, and he saw that the darkness was caused because of a huge bird. So it was flying towards this man. Actually, it was not flying towards this man, but it was flying towards its egg. So the huge white ball is nothing but the egg of this bird. So it was very huge. So I had often heard sailors talk of a great and wonderful bird called a roc. So this must be a roc, I thought, and this huge ball must be its egg. So immediately looking at the bird, he remembered the stories when his sailor friends, they were discussing about this type of huge birds which were called as rocs. So this sailor also imagined or thought that this could be the same bird which they were speaking about. So later here, the bird came nearer and sat on its egg. I soon crept close to the egg. Near me was one of the bird's legs, which was as big as tree. I decided to tie myself to the leg of this bird with my turban, so that when it flew away from the island, it would carry me with it. So here you can see the image where he tied himself to this leg of this huge bird. You can just see the size of the bird there, just with the help of the leg itself. See, the leg itself is so big, is so bigger than this man. Okay, so the bird is usually that much huge. The bird which he explains is that much huge. Okay, so when it came and sat on egg, this man, he thought, yeah, come now, it is now time for me to escape from here. So what he did was, he immediately took one cloth from his dress or whatever he was wearing, and he tied himself to the leg of that bird. So the thing, this thing he did because when the bird just flies over, it is huge bird, right? It is very simple for the bird to lift him. So when the bird flies, he can also fly along with the bird and go to some other place where the people are there. Now he is missing in the island. Now he wants to get into his own place. So at daybreak, the bird flew up so high that I was carried out of sight of the island. Then it came down again so fast that I lost my senses. When I found myself on the ground, I quickly untied the turban. The bird caught up a snake and flew away. So at the daybreak, okay, so at the at the end of the day, like that, the bird flew up. Okay, it flew up, like it took off from the ground, and it went so much high, and finally after so much time, it again came down. And the speed that this bird has while it was coming down made this sailor to lose his senses. So the speed was too much. So when I found myself on the ground, so when this man found himself on the ground, he quickly, immediately, he removed that turban which he tied to the leg of that bird. So the bird caught up the snake and flew away. So this man is standing on the other island now. Okay, on the other island. and now this bird is just away. It went out. Okay. So this time I found myself around all sides by immense mountains that seemed to reach above the clouds. So now, the place where he is standing is very much covered with the mountains, and the mountains are also too big. They were very much huge. Okay, so they almost like touched the skies. That means they are too tall. So the sides of the valley looked so steep that there was no possibility of climbing them. So when I began to look around the valley, I found that there were large diamonds lying on the ground. So when this man, just started to see what is there on the island and all, he encountered a large, diamonds. Okay, very big diamonds were there on the ground itself. Okay, on the ground of that island. So even it was impossible to climb the mountains also. Okay, so there is no way that he can climb up the mountain to go to other place. Okay, so he had to stay there itself. I was excited to find such riches laying around me. Then I saw something else that made me very frightened. All around the valley there were huge serpents, some of them big enough even to eat an elephant. These came out of their holes at nightfall. During the day, I suppose, they hid themselves from the rocks. So here, this man was very excited. Why was he excited? Because now he is on an island which is different from the first one, and in this island where he is now, he is covered with full of diamonds. So imagine if you are just in the place of diamonds in the on an island which is full of diamonds. Of course it is exciting, right? So his excitement was very short, because soon after having that excitement, he saw a very frightened thing. The frightened thing was there were huge serpents in the sense snakes. Okay, there were huge snakes on that island which were very big, and they were very big that they can even eat an elephant. Okay, so we can just imagine how big they can be. Okay, so here you can just see the picture here. Okay, so it is very easy for that snake which is here to swallow this man, right? So uh, during the daytime they don't come out of the rocks. Okay, why? Because these birds, the huge birds, are coming and lifting the snakes up, right? So snakes will be the food for those huge birds. Okay, the snakes and the birds both are huge. Okay, they both are bigger than this man. So during the daytime they don't come out of the rocks. During the night time they come out. Okay, so during the daytime they hide themselves in the rocks. I found a small cave where I decided to spend the night. At the entrance, I put a large stone to protect myself from the serpents, but the noise of their hissing outside made sleep impossible. I was glad that they went to their holes at daylight as daylight came on, and I was able to come out again. So during the night time, it was dark. So what he did was, you can see that there is a small cave here, okay, behind him. So just like that cave, he had seen a cave, and even inside the cave to save himself from the snakes, because during the night time the snakes usually come out, right? So he covered that small hole, the small hole thing with a rock there. Okay, so and though he covered it with some rock, there was the hissing sound. Okay, the hissing sound of the snakes, right? Okay, the bus bus sound we call it. Okay, so that type of sound was there which made sleep impossible for him. So as it was morning, this man was able to come out, because it was, since it was morning, the snakes again went into the rocks. Okay, but I was still frightened. In fact, I found myself walking upon diamonds without a thought of their value. At last, being very tired, I decided to eat a little bit of my food and then to have a short sleep in the sun. So here this man, though it was morning, though the snakes went inside, he was very much frightened, and his fear was very much that even he was though he was just walking on the diamonds, he couldn't realize their value. So it was that much frightened moment for him. So he was very much tired, and he ate a little bit of his food which he kept with him, and then he had a short sleep also in the sun, because during the night he couldn't sleep because of the sounds, no, snake sound. So I was suddenly awakened by something which fell near me. I sat up and found that it was a huge piece of raw meat. At the same time, more pieces fell down from the rocks above the valley. I had heard stories in the past about this valley of diamonds, but had not believed them. Now I saw with my own eyes what the local merchants did to obtain the jewels. They used huge eagles to carry up the diamonds for them. So, here, when he was sleeping, suddenly there was a sound. There was a huge sound. Okay, so he sat up and he saw what it was. It was a huge piece of raw meat, and at the same time, immediately one after another, all the meat pieces, they fell from the sky. Okay, so now he remembered again the stories which he heard about, about these huge rocks and about the merchants, about this meat and all. When he was in his city, he heard about all these stories, but he didn't believe at that time. Now he started to believe. So what the merchants do is, these eagles, these birds, they keep nests above the ground, so above that mountains. Okay, so below the mountains all these diamonds are there. So these merchants, they cannot come down and to pick these diamonds and all. So what they do is, they throw these huge meats down to the island on the ground, and when these diamonds get stuck up with the meat, or when they are just stuck, or just when they are gummed, just like just sticking with the water like mud and all. So when they are stuck to the meat and all, these huge birds, they carry these huge meats and they take them to the nests of the birds. Okay, so when they just bring those huge meats, some of the diamonds also will come along with those meat. Okay, so now again they will throw some of the meat, and again the birds will go down. So when the birds go down, meanwhile the merchants will come on to the branches of the trees where the nests are laying, and they will pick these diamonds from the meat. Again they will throw the meat down. So that is how the meat goes down, it gets stuck with the diamonds. The birds bring the meat. Actually it doesn't bring diamonds, actually they bring the huge meat. Okay, so along with the meat there are diamonds. So again they come to the nest. From the nest the merchants take the diamonds. Okay, so this is how the process. So this is how the merchants used to get these jewels and all, diamonds and all. So when the eagles have young ones in their nests among the rocks, they fly down into the valley to get the food for them. So the merchants would throw down large pieces of raw meat. The diamonds stick to the meat, and in this way get carried to the eagles' nests. So each merchant has his own nest and consider its jewels is. The idea came to me that I too could use these eagles. I myself could be lifted up from this deep valley and thus escape from it. The eagles were so big and strong that my weight would seem little. So now, when this meat is falling down from the sky and all, he remembered all the stories of these merchants and jewels. So immediately he got an idea. The idea is, however, the eagles are taking this huge meat which is on the ground, right? So what he thought was, he just want to act like meat there. He just want to tie some meat to his body, and when eagles, when these huge birds, they come and take that meat along with this man to the nest, he can just escape from there. So that is the plan which he has in his mind. So first I collected a number of large diamonds, and these I put in my wallet and tied the wallet to my waist. So now first thing is, he didn't just immediately go and get himself stuck to the meat. First he collected some of the diamonds. Okay, so that is the intelligent idea. So next thing he did was, he tied himself to a large piece of meat to the middle of his bag with his turban. So again his turban is there, no, which he tied himself to the bird. So he took the turban and he tied himself with the huge meat which is on the ground. So I then lay down with my face to the ground and waited there. There was the sound of huge wings around me. Then I felt myself lifted up and carried to the top of the rocky walls of the valley. So he just, tied himself to that huge chunk of meat and he just waited facing himself to the ground. So after some time, there was a huge sound of the wings, okay, the wings of the birds. And immediately he also, felt that he was being lifted up to the sky, lifted up to the top of that valley, top of that rocky valley. Okay, so soon I was in one of the nests. So of course this eagle came and it lifted the meat, and along with the meat this man also came. And finally when this eagle took the meat to the nest, finally this man also was into the nest. Okay, so the merchants were surprised to see me there. Of course there were merchants, no, collecting the diamonds from the meat. So the merchants saw and they were very much surprised. And when they heard my story, they helped me to find a ship to go home. So when the merchants saw him, they asked, who are you and all. So this man Sinbad, he explained, so and so, like, I missed here, okay, I am now in the missing situation, please help me and all. So immediately these merchants, they helped this man to go to home. So they found a ship and they put him on that ship. When I got back to Baghdad, okay, so what is his place? His place was Baghdad. So when he went back to Baghdad, I was very wealthy man. Why? Because the first thing he did was he took some of the diamonds along with him. So because of that, he became very much wealthy. I gave large amount of money to the poor and lived peacefully in my own home. So he also just didn't keep all the diamonds, all the richness with him. Of course he also helped some of the poor people there. And after that he lived very peacefully, very happily in his hometown. Okay, he didn't again go back to the ship, go back on a voyage. Okay, so this is how we see the story of Sindbad, who is a sailor. Okay, once go through the lesson, everybody must read the lesson to understand it more clearly, and must go through the vocabulary also. And in the next video I will be teaching you reading a which is titled as a hero, and the whole 3 units will be done very soon, and the rest of the units also will be uploaded very soon. So to get the notifications, don't forget to subscribe here to my channel and click on the bell icon so that you will get all the notifications. That is it for this video. See you all in the next video. Until then, take care. God bless you.